Thanks for coming today, guys. Literally, like maybe 10 minutes ago, there was no people in the room apart from me, John, James, and my girlfriend at the back. It was like no one's turned up. So please grab a donut, grab a Pepsi Max. Diet Coke have been sponsoring every event I've seen recently, so we went Pepsi Max today just to say, no, you're not getting us unless you pay. But yeah, grab tea, coffee. We'll keep questions till the end, but if you do have a supremely burning question, I will ignore you until the end. Whenever it comes to these kind of things, like I've done a bunch of them, it's always like that first word in your presentation where you go, it all flows from here. So hi, I'm Matt Stevenson. I own a company called Infinite Vision. I'll get into who I am in a little second, but I just want to say thank you for coming today, because whenever you're planning an event of any scale, like I said, you see 3 people turn up and you go, oh God, why'd we bother? No one wants to hear us. But today I want to talk about social media. So who here currently does social media, has social media, uses it for their business? Yeah, I was going to say, if you didn't, it's actually a great room to be in then, but everyone does, so it's fine. So today, in 30 minutes, we're going to go over... Oh, it's not. Perfect. Tech complications in the first minute. So today we will go over how to effectively plan, film, edit, and publish content. So you're all busy. You do a million things, whether you just work in marketing, whether you handle clients, or whether you do stuff for your business. I don't think anyone in this room will be able to fairly say that they just do one thing. Because even if you just do social media, or you just handle that part, there's a million facets. So it's going to be really important. But first, I think it's a pretty fair question. Who is this guy standing in front of you? Who is Matt Stevenson? Why am I listening to him today? Well, I'm actually, funnily enough, a former government economist. I worked in Brexit, cost of living, and COVID. So I like to say, in my career as an economist, every single bad thing that happened to our economy, I was involved in. Now, I didn't cause it, but I did work there at the time, so maybe that is a sign. But I left my corporate job in October last year to run a social media company full-time. I was doing a freelance on the side, and it kind of spiraled from there. So I have about 84,000 followers across a couple of accounts, Instagram and TikTok mainly. I have about 80 million views online, all organic, no paid ads. I've worked with, done training for companies, about 150 of them, from one-man bands to companies like Porsche, Audi, Titanic Belfast. I've done ad campaigns with TikTok 2 years in a row, TikTok UK in London. And funnily enough, those ads were to help promote downloading the TikTok app, and they were on every platform except for TikTok. And my 75-year-old neighbor stopped me in the street after they went down and said, I saw you on the TV. I said, no, you didn't. He goes, I saw you on YouTube. It was a TikTok ad. So it was just a funny thing to say, old people are watching YouTube? I don't know. But I actually went from writing economic reports. So all my publications, all my stats have been in these places. It used to be a very scary phone call I had at the time, but now I say it like to flex. Like I'm just like, hey guys, I'm about to flex something on you. My stats on Brexit were used by Boris Johnson. He used them in a negative way, but I can say at the time my CEO called me and said, how did he get those stats? And I was like, I don't know. But now I go, yeah, Boris Johnson used them, whatever. But I wrote economic reports like this one here. Although it looks nice and colorful and beautiful, it was 24 pages of very dry information. It was about the lowest earning households. So I went from that to making videos full time. So during lockdown, for example, I started a free website called Support Local NI, and I ended up on the news because of that. It was used 150,000 times in 3 months during the circuit breaker lockdown. And I was watching the news with my parents, so I did a 10-minute interview at Victoria Square in Belfast about the website and how local businesses were being impacted. And it was 6:29 and we were watching the ITV news, and I said to my parents, I've been bumped. I got 10 seconds at the end of the news, but it was long enough to grab a screenshot. And again, hey guys, I was on the news for something I did. We did billboards across Belfast. The proudest thing I did was I said, you're not giving your business to the richest man in the world. You're giving it to the local people of Northern Ireland. That was during lockdown, so Jeff Bezos was the richest. And I guess I'll always have that over you, Jeff Bezos. You almost closed down Venice to get married, but I, in a local newspaper, said that I have a business that did something slightly more local than you. And then most recently, which we'll get into in a second, I do a lot of food-related content. and I've been in newspapers. So this woman down here is called Willetta. She is in Dromore, in a place called Bethel's Kitchen. Anyone ever been there before? Bagel place. Whenever I first reached out to her to film, her biggest queue was 3 people. She literally had never had a busy day in her entire business. In one video, filmed over 2 days, was about 4 hours of filming. The next day, 100,000 views in 24 hours. Since then, over a year on, she has multiple staff and she's getting a new premises. And she's actually just teamed up with a local beer company to launch a pickle beer. That all came off the back of just turning up and doing one video. And then I was in the Belfast Telegraph recently giving my opinion on how to do social media for local businesses. The funniest thing that happened was, this is where I did my TV interview. After we finished, the guy walked up to me and said, "Can I take your picture?" I said, "What?" Took the picture, and then someone sent this to me. There's actually a stock image website selling a photo of me. So if any of you need, I didn't give permission for that. I don't get a cut off that or anything. But basically, if you need marketing material for your website and you want a confused looking man thinking, why is he taking a photo of me? I don't get a cut of it. Pay me £10 over there and we'll take a new photo. Cut out the middleman. Very quickly, the hospitality marketing company. So I do stuff like corporate training, over 150 companies. I work with businesses of any type, but hospitality is just something I can't seem to escape from. Food and making people buy stuff impulsively just works with how I create content. So at our peak, we reach easily over 1 million people, not impressions, not views, 1 million people a month. Our country has 1.9 million people. And as well, multiple record-breaking videos. So we have the highest viewed food showcase video on the island. We have 6 of the highest viewed food videos in Northern Ireland. And one story I love to tell, because the business told me, there was a couple who were in Texas. They flew to the south. They were staying in a couple of Airbnbs doing a golf tour across the south. They, on their TikTok page, watched one of my barbecue videos in Derry. They drove from somewhere down south to Derry, stayed at an Airbnb, ate the food in that barbecue place, and then went back down south. So it brought a couple, across the border and in from one video. That video currently has a total of 2.9 million views for a barbecue place that no one had ever heard of. I'm not joking. It's in the Derry Journal. 2 weeks away from closing, and I turned up and saved it. So it's still something I just can't believe whenever I think about the impact of social media. That's enough about me. I want to try an icebreaker activity. Okay. No, just kidding. I always like to see who flinches and who. We had a couple of people, James especially. You're speaking in about an hour, which is then concerning for me. No, I'm joking. So let's begin. We have a kind of tight window today. So I usually do a 4-hour workshop for businesses. I also do monthly training, weekly training. So I've tried to compress every valuable piece of information into as tight a time as possible. So please take pictures, write down any questions. I'm about for a while afterwards. Ask me, email me. I want you to get as much value out of spending your Friday here as possible. So first up, planning. If you plan to fail, you are planning to fail. So Ben Franklin, who's literally on $100 bills, that's a pretty authoritative way of saying that if you're not actually thinking about what you're doing in any facet of marketing, you're probably not going to get the best return. So if I was to take a big pile of 20-pound notes, for example, and just throw them away, that's what you're doing by not planning your content, okay? And would anyone like to tell me very quickly what they think the role of social media is in a customer's journey? Anyone at all? Anyone who works in marketing here? John, go for it. Discovering. Anyone else? Someone over here. I want to pick on people specifically. Yes? Education. And one more over here.
It depends on the channel, and it depends what... Yeah, there are various things that you're doing.
The person who owns the marketing company. I know you own a marketing company, so that is you passed the test today. No. Right. So I like the answers we've had, because I always like to say, and it's similar to what you guys were saying, it's about finding the right product or service at the right time. So whenever people are looking for something and they find your product through social media organically or through paid ads, which is what John will talk about, it is about getting them to buy at the right time. So if I've just leased a Mercedes-Benz for 4 years and you're a car dealership showing me all these car offers, how likely am I to buy? Not likely at all. If I own a wedding boutique and I'm a person who's just got married, how likely am I to buy? Well, if my brother's about to get married, I'm very likely to buy. And if I don't, then I'm not. So it's about finding the right stuff at the right time, because people are inherently selfish. And the two questions I ask in any situation before any content is made is, why should they care? And who is most likely to care? You'll have people telling you about avatars and like you need to think about who you're marketing to and the story. The two questions that all boils down to is, why should they care and who's most likely to care? Because think about how you scroll your own social media. Fast. We've become trained to, I would love to have a timer to see exactly how fast we scroll. Even on Facebook, where it's just one big line, it is you are giving every piece of information about half a second max. You will watch a video for 1 second and decide whether that person who's put hours into that content, if they're worth caring about or not, especially if you don't know them. And a big mistake I see people doing whenever they're thinking about people they want to copy online. So does anyone know who Molly May is? Yeah. So she can just sit in her car with her sister and do a 30-minute Q&A and everyone watches it. But what you don't see is all the years before that where she was probably getting 1,000 views, 2,000 views. And for a business, any business you're seeing on TikTok right now, there's a cookie company in Coleraine that went super viral because they were doing the little dipping trays. You don't see all the work they put in before that because an overnight success took years to make. So whenever you're making content for your business, it takes a long time. And what the other two guys will talk about is how to accelerate that. But whenever you have that baseline of organic content, it's like a menu. Imagine going to a restaurant and saying, what do you have? And they went, just decide. You're gonna freeze, you're not gonna know what they get. Whereas whenever you actually have a menu, how they design that, how they put that there is how you end up buying things. And a question I get all the time, so I have, again, almost 100 million views online. Do you need millions of views online? Anyone want to say yes or no? Do you think you need millions to succeed? Just need the right one. You've seen the slides. That guy's definitely seen the slides. That's the perfect answer because it is no. You don't need millions of views online because, generally speaking, views, likes, and followers for a business are vanity metrics. So if you were getting 1 million views a video and you were selling one item or signing one client, what's the point of the millions? Especially if you report to a boss or report to someone more senior, what's the point? Especially if you own a business too. Yes, you're getting the validation, the dopamine rush, but if it's not converting to what you need, what's the point? Because content... Yeah.
To be awareness, maybe not today, but another topic, so I remember you.
And that is exactly what organic content is all about. That's to say, you always have to keep turning up. And another example I do like to give in the counterpoint to that is if you went to a new city and you saw two coffee shops side by side, you've never been to them, never seen the brands, and this wouldn't happen in real life. They're both blank buildings, no sign, nothing. To be fair, hipster coffee shops are kind of moving that kind of way. But you walk in, and you go, which one am I going to go to? You look them both up on Instagram before you buy. One has 10 followers and one has 1 million followers. Which one are you more likely to maybe edge towards if they're both the same? Obviously, branding, etc. changes that. So that's why I have, just like James will have, the little asterisk. Generally speaking, you always have to think, what am I getting out of this? But I'll show you how to get millions of views online anyway, because maybe it's useful. And it is complicated. So if you want to take a picture of the next slide, just to warn you, boom, there you go. It is literally as simple as that. If you want to boil down every effort you have in social media, that is it. Make great content, put it out, and do it again, and do it again, and do it for years, and do it for years. It actually sounds depressing whenever you think about what you have to do, which is why you pay people like me, and we do it for you. I'm just kidding. But a question you guys are probably thinking then is, well, what makes great content? Anyone want to try to define it for me now? Great content, like a great video. What makes a great video?
It's actually answering the question that you say, why they should care and
yeah,
why they would like it, you know.
Yeah. So you ever seen a video before that's just the most amazing camera quality and you go, geez, how'd they do that? That stops you. You ever seen someone give you a piece of advice in a social media video and you go, whoa, I didn't know that? Have you ever seen a business offer something and you've ever impulsively bought it? My phone case was me watching. I was like, I can't be sold to. I work in marketing. Saw an ad on TikTok for a phone case from a company that makes your phone look like it's the internal to the phone. I didn't even care what the price was. I went straight to the website and bought it like in under 5 minutes. So even I, as someone who works in this world and sees it, fall for it too. But I define great content as, don't worry, the platforms will tell you. Because think about it, has anyone ever uploaded a video and got like 100, 200 views? Yeah? Well, I have to. Anyone raise their hands? Let's just do it proudly. The platforms can punish you. It's true. And I think, although that is demotivating, it is also one of the greatest gifts in a way you can have, because it's direct feedback. Because the platforms want you to get millions of views because they sell ads. If they had a platform that was getting no views for anyone, everyone would leave the platform. Does anyone remember Threads? Yeah? Do you remember it's owned by Meta? It was touted to be the biggest app possible, and somehow cynically I thought, that's going to burn out. It took 2 weeks. It went from like 20 million, 100 million users to like 1 million, and I still get Instagram notifications. Please post it to Threads. No, no, I'm not posting it to Threads. So it'll tell you, because, and I'm actually matching the weather outside now by being dreary. No one cares about you or your business or me or any of us. And that sounds almost like a nihilist kind of point of view, but it is dead true. No one cares about what you do. You could be, does anyone want to shout out what kind of business they have or what they work for? Yes?
I'm a coffee alternative business. Yeah.
Oh, well, I care about what you do actually. So, okay, let's pick on someone else. You have to say for the room, no.
Oh, we talk for the company, so all things.
Damn it, that's a good social cause. Okay, someone else, give me a company. I don't care about that whatsoever. No, I do actually. I'll buy one. No, like jokes aside, no one cares about your business, because think about how harsh you are whenever you're scrolling your feed. Everyone's going, oh, buy my product. I'm the best company. I'm this. Oh, I'm vlogging. I want to be Molly May. I want to do this. If you take anything from today, as negative as it might sound, I'm trying to inspire you. If you remember that no one cares, it'll make you think harder about what you do. Because if you go in with what I've seen from training 150 plus companies, entitlement, companies go, I deserve 1 million views. I deserve sales. Why? There's probably 1 million companies like you. Whenever you're on TikTok, you're competing against the world. So why should they care about you? And yes, you can have a video that blows up. Learn from it. If the next one bombs, don't feel discouraged. Like, yes, we're human. You can feel the emotion and just like sit with it for a second, but go to your team or to yourself. We're gonna flip and nail this. Next time we're gonna hit this harder, because if you've done it once, you can do it again, because the platform wants to give you everything. Now, before we stop talking about the planning section, just think of the time. How to never run out of ideas. And you think I'm going to fake you out, take a picture of this, don't. Like the next slide you genuinely will want to take a picture of. This is a matrix I train businesses on. It's called 4E's. So if you're ever sitting there going, what can we make content on? Especially if you have a marketing member of staff, you want to give them something to like be able to base things off. I get them to print that, or if you have an iPad with a pencil, if you're modern, you can write on that directly. I'll explain it really quickly. Anyone ever heard of top of funnel, bottom of funnel? It's like a general marketing principle. This is like this the other way. So this is top of funnel, and we move towards sales here, okay? So top left is entertainment. So watching a video like behind the scenes. So Lynn, who's sitting in the third row back, has these Meta glasses, the ones with the camera, and she literally, from watching one of her LinkedIn videos, I went out and spent £500 on camera stuff, because I was like, I love how she showed behind the scenes. Entertainment. Education. Has anyone here ever made a video for their business saying about why their product's better, or something that kind of teaches people? Yeah, a couple of nods. That's that. That's to get people interested in the concept of what you do. What gets them to take impulsive action is either empowerment, so reviews, social proof. Oh, this person bought from me. This person did this. This person did this. It shows you're cool. It shows you're doing something that people want to be part of. They say that whenever you have two empty tip boxes, like tip here, pound or whatever, one that has a couple of coins in the bottom, you're more likely to put the money into it, because other people have already done it. Then you've got excitement. And in like the food sphere or anything locally based, these ones are great for impulsive. So you don't want to have all your content be around that, because if you sell all the time, you sell nothing. But get people to understand what you're doing, get them in a room, talk to them, just like today. Filming. The myth is that you need professional equipment. Your phone is more than enough. I wouldn't worry about anything else. In my full workshops, I break down a full list of all the equipment to buy, microphones, tripods. If you want a copy of that, message me after. I can get you the list because I have a full set of slides. This is just a 20-minute presentation. Whenever you're filming, you can take a picture of this as well, or I can send it to you afterwards. These are my iPhone settings. I don't even use the newest iPhone, and I personally feel I've got the maximum out of that camera quality. I have tweaked all these settings. Most important ones are grid lines. Definitely grid lines, because it helps you frame what's center. And Amy's first email feedback to me from Smoke Barbecue was, oh my God, grid lines have changed my life. So that's, I should put that in the slide, -Amy. 4K, 30, it should default to that. Make sure you're on 4K. And then lock your white balance. What that basically means is whenever you start filming, if something gets really red, it won't change the color of the camera. It locks it in. We can talk about it afterwards, but all you need to know is if you have an iPhone or Android, who's got an Android here? No, you own a marketing company. No, I'm joking. Yeah, so you can mirror those as close as possible, or if you want me to tweak them for you at the end, work away. 1080p versus 4K. In the full presentation, I go into this in a lot more detail, but the long story short is 4K is twice as many pixels as 1080p. 4K therefore means you can zoom it twice as much. So long story short, film in 4K, export in 1080p. And again, in the full presentation, I go into it in a lot more detail, but all you need to know is if you take a picture of this and in your preferred editing software, this is CapCut. We won't talk about their new terms of service for anyone who's seen it, but this is just an example of the most popular editing app. Until they lose market share, I will not switch this slide, but you're basically picking, it goes in as 4K and you're picking this number to export and make sure your image quality is high. That's the simplest way I can put it across to you. Other tips. Use grid lines. Use grid lines. It will literally make it so easy. As long as your subject is right here, you'll never mess up. If you've ever filmed someone talking to a camera, if they look just above the phone or just below the phone, you're fine. See, if they look anywhere too far left or right, it'll look like I'm speaking to you like this. It just doesn't work. Same for this way. So the advice I'll give you is put a little sticky note just below the camera. I have literally had people do this and it is super, super effective. So if you're filming someone who's nervous talking to camera, if you just say, look at this bright green strip, it honestly puts them at ease immediately. And you can use it on if you're using a big camera, that'll be the best 1p you spend on your business. Next, again, this is a kind of whistle-stop tour, but in the full one, it goes into a lot more detail. But has anyone ever heard of a hook before? You want to hook them in? I'm a social media guru. It's all about the hook. Or I never thought I'd do a pirate noise at a presentation. Someone laughed. That's good. We got the laugh. So basically, everyone talks about the hook. So you have to scroll stop. I want you to stop on my content. Stop. Okay. I've stopped you because I've said something stupid and mad, like, if you don't watch this video, you're going to die. Send it to 4 people. You ever seen those? I always send it to 4 people. So the more important thing is the main content. I can get anyone to stop on any video in any industry. You can just say something absolutely crazy, but you'll get your 3 seconds. So on social media, generally 3 seconds equals a view. What happens then? The person scrolls past. You say, I got 1 million views. Everyone goes, who are you? It's about the main content. And then, of course, getting a payoff. And what do you want them to do? And that, just like you said yourself, it doesn't have to be about buy. It can be awareness, okay? So here, very quickly, so you can take pictures throughout. I can send you the slides. I have a thing I've called the Lego editing framework. So I say treat your videos like building blocks. So here is a very complicated editing timeline. This is someone building a wall out of Lego. If I told you there was no difference, some of you might not believe me. If you've ever anyone ever built Lego before? Like, you're like a really complicated set. It's just a big bunch of instructions. You put all the pieces in the little piles, colors. If anyone here does jigsaws, same kind of principle. So first of all, after your shoot, review all your footage and delete the rubbish clips. So go back and be harsh on yourself. What was shit? Just being raw. What was just awful? Film too much when you're doing it, but afterwards, cut it all back. That will save you a lot of headaches. Next. Yeah. Color your remaining clips. I'm being dead serious. If you color your clips in Northern Ireland specifically, you will be ahead of 95% of content creators, businesses, agencies, anyone. The only people who color their clips are people who use a massive camera because it comes out flat. So you have to bring color into it like that there. It's on the iPhone or Android. These little dials. I always like to say it's like going to the optician. They say, is it better now or now? Is it better now or now? Pull it left, pull it right. What do you think looks better to your eye? That we can talk about in more detail afterwards. Next, sort them into a rough order. Intro, hook, main part, payoff. Okay? Delete anything else as you wish. Now you've got your exact Lego bricks. And then build your story. Hook is usually one video. Your ending's usually one video. Sound, video, graphics, music, whatever you want. There's all your story pieces right there. And then get faster every time. So, funny story about this is, don't want to get off topic too far, but Stephen Bartlett, anyone ever heard of him? Stephen Bartlett, his team, his head editor, Anthony, put up a post on LinkedIn a year ago and said, we have this internal template we use to make our editing a lot faster. And everyone was commenting, where's the template? Didn't share it. So I remade it pixel for pixel and put it online. And their team saw it, and Stephen Bartlett commented on my LinkedIn post, which got me a lot of followers that day, and said, yep, that's perfect, spot on. And I gave a free download link. So with every workshop and presentation, if you want that, I'll send it to you. There's no cost. It's not like anything like that. But I just thought Stephen Bartlett's team were like, we use this amazing thing. Share it. Just give it out. Like, you already are a millionaire. You're good. But it comes with instructions, but basically it tells you, like, you can see here, like, that's where your buttons are. Put your eyes here. Don't put stuff here. Pop it over the top in any editing software. I use it with every new client. It's super useful. And then the last section here, in case anyone's fallen asleep, publishing. I said this at the start, organic content takes time. If you don't immediately go viral, that's fine. If you never go viral, that's fine. If you're making sales and you're meeting your numbers, that's fine. Pepsi Max fan, I love it. Because someone said it earlier, 10,000 views to your perfect audience is better than 1 million to the general population. In the full presentation, there's like a pie chart I show with basically 1 million. You have such a little tiny sliver, a smaller pie chart, you have a bigger sliver. There's more to it than that, but I would rather have 10,000 views than 1 million if I was actually selling stuff. And then very quickly at the end here, I literally tried to compress 4 hours worth of content into 25 minutes. So if you want to talk about it afterwards, just come up to me. I'll send you the slides. In the last 7, this is live screenshot. In the last 7 days, I got almost 500,000 views by breaking all the social media rules. And I always have broken the social media rules, 80 million views total, because rules are meant to be broken, especially when it comes to social. Because for everything I say today, you can show me a video that breaks a rule, and I'll show you one that breaks your rule. And there's no point going in circles. So this is a live screenshot. On this account here, by the way, 18 days, 18 videos, 1,000, 120,000, 30, 50, another 100,000, 1,000 followers gained in 7 days. And it's not slowing down. I'm using what I've learned and doing it again and again and again. And if it's in the fitness sphere, if I was a PT, I'd be selling stuff off the back. But because I sell this kind of stuff, I want to prove you're hiring someone who knows what they're doing, because I do it, every day, even though sometimes you don't want to do it. So if really quickly, take a picture of this here if you want to. This is what you don't need to get views online. If you're ever making content, make sure this is your wallpaper of your laptop or something like that. Print it out, look at it. These are like the most popular myths I've seen. So this is questions I've had, content online. You don't need hashtags, you don't need subtitles, you don't need videos to be a certain length. We'll break them down in a second here, but that's usually the point where everyone goes, oh, I should have been taking pictures throughout. So I give people warning. So hashtags, in May 2024, the Instagram CEO came out and said, hashtags, and I will paraphrase him here. He said, should we make dohashtagsmatter.com? And he laughed and said no. So I tried to distill that down to, do hashtags improve visibility? No, just a no. It doesn't matter. My data that supports that is 2 million of my views last year came from search. It's all about search. Don't worry about hashtags. People waste time on hashtags. Take your hashtags. So food, for example, Belfast food. If you're in luxury handbags, luxury handbags. instead for yourself, instead of writing hashtag luxury handbags, not saying you're doing that, you could say at the bottom of your caption, we are a luxury handbags company based in X. We sell to Y. We are, you just paste that at the bottom, and then it puts it in all your videos. So with all my local business content, I always get them to put their address in. I always get them to put little details in, because as it gets more views, TikTok, now Instagram, as of recently, Facebook already did, it ranks on Google. So it all mixes together. Next, posting at a certain time. People think you need to post at a certain time. I'll let you know from experience, videos get views over the first 48 hours. If they're a flipping good video, it's 7 to 10 days. But this is one of my videos, 26th, 31,000 views. The next day, or 2 days later, 194,000 views in 1 day. So, and then it dies off. Videos have a certain lifespan. Subtitles, yes or no? So I personally don't think they're necessary. In fact, my account I've got at the moment, I don't put them on purpose. A little hack for you is, I just put little caption boxes with like kind of what's happening throughout the video. Because if you're watching without sound, at least it gives you a flavor of like what's happening without every word. But I do recommend businesses, if you're putting the time in, put subtitles on, because A, accessibility, people who, need to read them, but also I hate built-in ones. They're ugly. Like I'd rather not read them than see them. You can make them for pretty cheap. There's an app called Veed, Veed, on the Apple App Store, and it is $5.99 a month. It is incredible. It makes all those animated ones you've seen online. Really, really good stuff. And no, I don't get paid by them, although I wish I did. 1p per download. Replying to comments, not necessary whatsoever. You don't have to, because think about it. If the biggest creators in the world had to reply to every comment, they couldn't. They physically couldn't. But for businesses and local businesses, someone's taken the time to ask you a question, or maybe they just said, loser. Happens. But I like to go by the 1 + 1 = 3 rule. So someone comments something like, I had a great time here. I love your bags. Instead of saying, thank you, 1 + 1 = 2, you can say, what did you like about it? They'll reply, 3. So they left 1, you've made that 3. So always try to ask a question. And before you go to my comment sections, I can't be bothered sometimes. There's hundreds of comments. Sometimes I just say, thanks. Little thumb. Not a passive-aggressive thumb, like a nice sweet thumb. Stay within your niche. Really quickly, this is an insurance company. Every single video they have is interviewing people on the street. This is in Manchester. So they're getting awareness, like you said, towards their brand. Who's watching insurance videos for, did you know, we do insurance and it's only, who cares? The website, which James will talk about, says all that. You can advertise in different ways. If you want to talk about something like that afterwards, we usually go into a lot more detail. And then lastly, so you can stop listening to me speak, is there a perfect video length? As long as it needs to be, but as short as possible, as long as it doesn't compromise your story, that's it. In terms of trying to distill it down to a rule, so with Antonia, with the financial services content, we tried to make the videos 30 seconds. We were cutting so much good information, they were getting less views. So we made them 1 minute and 15. So now she's getting paid on TikTok for every video she does. Fantastic. Whenever they get to 1 million views, you make about £1,000 off that. But also, it just depends in terms of what are you showing? What are you showing it for? Who are you showing it? But if you want the general rule, because again, this is just a high level presentation, I wouldn't exceed 30 to 45 seconds. If you're making minute-long videos, you have to be watching that back at the end saying, this is good, this is good. If you can't even watch your own videos back, why should someone else watch your videos? But yeah, that was super whistle stop. So thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. There's my contact details if you want to take a picture or chat to me afterwards. But I think I went probably a little bit over time. 5 minutes over, guys. Find me for it, but thank you. Any quick questions here before we... That was very quick. Did I plant you? Do you want one of these £20 notes? Yes, what is it?
That's product placement, so
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, actually, I wish they were Ulster Bank notes. That would have been very funny. They're actually fake. I don't make that much money to just throw it away. Pick them up at the end. Please don't take these. Sorry, yes, what is your question?
So the first question would have been...
First question? We got 2 questions. I'm only joking.
Have been